What's up, beautiful people? Listen, Daruma, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be checking this video, and it's titled The Fall of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle 6 years after tying the knot. Interesting. It's 6 years already? That's interesting. I'm excited to check this one out to hear what they've got to say. Let's check it out.
Joining me now is media writer for The Australian, Sophie Ellsworth, and royal expert and journalist Pandora Forsyth. Ladies, Pandora, 6 years after the Sussexes were married, and expectation and reality couldn't have been further apart. Is that right?
Yeah, you're quite right there. I think people are very confused about their brand at the moment. We've obviously had them saying they want a private life, and I think people respected that, regardless of the fact that they might have been disappointed that they've stepped down from the royal family in a working capacity. But since then, we've had interviews, we've had books, we've had Netflix deals, which of course there's the argument to be financially independent off the back of it, but also slamming the royal family at the same time. And now, of course, we've had this non-royal tour to Nigeria, which many people have thought was a success in many ways, but also begs the question, well, if you didn't want to be doing this, then why did you step down from the royal family, as it had all of the elements of what a royal tour had had?
Yes.
So, again, there's just a massive question mark over Harry and Meghan at the moment.
And Sophie, the media were captured by Harry and Meghan from the get-go, and in a positive way, to be fair. But it seems almost everyone is struggling to find the good, authentic news story about this couple.
Well, Caroline, they were the hottest thing in town when they hit centre stage, and they had positive press, endless positive press. But we're 6 years down the track, and what a disaster it's been. I mean, their modus operandi has been to trash the royal family. Their business model since they moved to America has been basically, let's bring down the royal family and make money out of it. They are so out of touch. They are, you know, people have just turned their backs on them, not only in the UK, but even here in Australia. So the damage is done. They are damaged goods, in my view, and they won't be able to make a comeback. Even if they do try and do that, I think they're so far down the road of being disliked, it's almost impossible to turn things around now.
And Pandora, the dramas just seem to continue. So can you tell us about this issue with the Archewell Foundation, which hit the news in a really big way this week?
Yeah, so the Archewell Foundation was set up when Harry and Meghan left the UK to go to California. And a lot of their charity work is through this foundation. Now, this week, it was public knowledge, as it's on public record. For them, unfortunately, they were handed a delinquency notice. This is due to the fact that a cheque apparently had gone missing in the post or wasn't delivered. And this was on public record and hit all of the headlines. This is now apparently being cleared up, and a new cheque has been sent in the post. But this is not the press that they need off the back of the Nigeria tour, and they just don't seem to have the luck, unfortunately. But you would think for something of such a foundation which is set up in such a public domain, you would think something like this just should not be happening, whether that be careering the cheque if possible, but leaving it just a post to hope that it's going to get there on time. You know, it's not a good look, but apparently now it has been sorted, and the governor of California has said that it was all a bit of a technical mishap and people need to move on.
Speaking of which, Sophie, and off the back of what Pandora said, the criticism of the Sussexes' visit to Nigeria, that does continue. We understand the royal family were very unhappy with the royal veneer of that trip. Is that correct?
Well, that's what the reports are saying, Caroline, that they were deeply unhappy with this trip to Nigeria that looked like, sounded like, it felt like a royal tour. And they are no longer royals, so they're carrying on as if they are still well and truly part of the royal family. And this is definitely getting people offside. You know, they were touring around Nigeria, visiting charities and schools and so forth, injured servicemen. And this is really making it a mixed message as to what they are actually trying to achieve. They want one foot in the royal camp, but they want one foot out of it as well. And you can't have it both ways.
You can't? Exactly.
No, I think that...
And that is true. You can't have it both ways. I understand that from a Nigerian perspective, that they respect the throne, so they don't want to be part of it or be enabling some sort of way to disrespect the throne. Hence, they have to treat them as such in high regards or as royalty. But don't think Nigerians don't know that they've decided that they don't want to be part of the royal family and all of that. But I mean, because of the respect they have for the late queen, they have to give her that respect as to Prince Harry and Meghan, his wife. But again, I don't think anybody in their right sense will say they want to be half in, half out of the royal family. And that is something that is alarming, because how do you even do it? How do you even think of it? It's not even making sense. And with all of this, people watching and saying that they are disrespecting the throne, they are publicly disrespecting the throne, but they still want to be part of it. People are watching, and every country that they want to be part of, be like, okay, if you can disrespect the throne, especially countries that are part of the Commonwealth or countries who respect the throne, when they watch you, they'll be like, if you can disrespect the throne without feeling any type of way and still go out public and still act like nothing, then what is to say that you will not do the exact same in our country? I mean, it is just common logic here. Lots of people are watching and lots of people see all of this. But again, their tour on to Nigeria, it feels or it seems like they're still part of the royal family, which in all fairness, I think Nigerians gave them that respect as being part of the royal family, even though they still feel like, or still say, or they're saying they don't want to be part of it. I don't think Nigerians want to be enabling them or be part of whatever they have going on to say they don't want to be part of it. Regardless, that is the way they see you and that is the way they view you, except there is an official statement regarding that. But I mean, people are watching and people saw this, so people saw the way things went. But interesting though. Let's go on.
No, I think that's right. And Pandora, do you think this is intentional on the part of the Sussexes, or are they just doing what they know as part of their own brand?
Look, we know that Harry has always worked with injured servicemen after his time in the military, and I think we've got to be fair on that point. And they have always actually worked, both of them individually, with charities over time. So fine. But this is a little bit of a slap in the face for the royal family, because they said that they wanted a private life and they wanted to be getting on with their own things. Whereas a royal tour, they essentially just did one without the royal status attached to it and created headlines all around the world. So many people might see it as a missed opportunity, but many people also see it as a dig at the royal family. And I'm not saying that the work that they did there wasn't brilliant, because in many aspects it was. But what do they actually want to achieve by this? Is it the fact that they want to carry on doing royal work without having to actually be working royals and be in the UK and actually, you know, being able to carry on with that work as a royal family member? Or do they want the benefits of living in California, having the independence to carry on with those Netflix deals and those Spotify deals and the book deals, etc., etc.? What do they actually want here? And is it opening a door for the royal family again, or are they just going to slam it shut?
True.
And interestingly, Sophie, there are also reports that the Sussexes were flown to Nigeria for free by an airline company boss who was a wanted fugitive in the US. Now, is that right?
Really?
And if so, is this more of that potential brand damages that the Sussexes really don't need?
Seriously?
Well, Caroline, we don't know for sure if this report, you know, if they were aware of this actually involvement with the airline and these alleged fraud allegations by one of their bosses. So we need to give them the benefit of the doubt here.
Okay,
but,
yes.
this, again, is something that surely Harry and Meghan's people, should I say, should have checked out before they jumped on this plane. And let's get to the point about the hypocrisy of them taking private planes around. This is not a good look for them, and it could backfire badly. So they need to be more careful with who they're getting involved with, because everyone is watching what they're doing very closely.
Thank you.
You know, always, you know, virtue signalling and telling people how to live their lives. They need to be careful who they associate with, and if they appear to be associating with people who are, you know, alleged fraudsters, this can be very damaging for them.
Absolutely, Sophie. And how many times has this private jet issue been raised? And for some reason, they continue to do it, almost as if they're ignoring it entirely. I find it absolutely astonishing. But there's also this week an interesting piece in The Telegraph from Petronella Wyatt, and it's titled, "It's Time to Bring Harry Home." Now, Pandora, what was the main argument here? Do you think it has merit?
Yeah, she went on to say in this Telegraph piece that it was for family and for country, and that the brothers should have a reconciliation. Well, look, I think we've all been wanting that for many years, and I think that would be great if we could all get along and be happy families. But are we completely forgetting everything which Harry and Meghan have done, not only directly about royal family members, but also loved ones of the royal family as well, and the monarchy itself? I think there's so much more that needs to be done in conversations. And Harry was in London and didn't even see his brother, or quite frankly, his sister-in-law, or his father. So yes, wouldn't it be great if we could all get along and it would all be absolutely fine? But I think in reality, is this ever going to happen? And how can they trust Harry and Meghan again to know that they're not going to step back from royal duties and cause upset and cause further upset as well to Charles, our king now? We just can't risk that. And I think this is the issue, is trust here. And will they ever be able to build back up that trust? Well, I just don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. And that's the brutal reality.
And I think that's very well said. And lastly, Sophie, another European royal is planning a move to the US. Elizabeth of Belgium, is she going to do it?
Exactly. Because, I mean, they want to do one foot in, one foot out. But, I mean, they're still trying to enjoy the benefit and all of that from the royal family. It's not making sense. And honestly, I'm with them. With what was said here, they should also be careful of what they do, because people are watching. But I mean, regardless, they are still in the public eye, still in the public image, regardless of how much they still want to act like they don't want to be part of the royalty, when we all know that, I mean, some things is not the way we see it. But again, with everything that we can see or we see for ourselves, they really need to be careful at this point with whoever they get in business with or get in bed with, because people are watching, and at this point nobody wants more blow to the royal family's face or to the throne's face, because I mean, they've done enough to disrespect the throne and people don't need more of that. But again, yeah, lots of people have their thoughts about the brothers or the family coming together and reconciling. But again, do you think they would ever reconcile? I'm also hoping that they would finally eventually reconcile, that the family would get to Prince Harry and maybe eventually call him to order. But it seems like every attempt to want to get him to reconcile is not working, because I mean, obviously there's somebody feeding into his ear and is paying close attention or listening to that person more. But let me know what you think about that though. Do you ever think the family would come together, or the royal family would come together and have that beautiful family together regardless? But yeah, let's go on.
Lastly, Sophie, another European royal is planning a move to the US.
Really?
Elizabeth of Belgium, is she going to do it differently and better? I've got about 30 seconds for you.
Well, I don't know if she's going to get the media coverage, you know, that Meghan Markle has got, but let's see how she does go moving to the US. She's only 22, she's very young, she's a future queen, but all eyes will be on her. She's very elegant, very intelligent. and I think people will be very interested to see how she handles her move to the US.
Absolutely, Sophie, and hopefully she learns some lessons from the past.
Interesting to see this, another one moving. I'm trying to understand, like, what is going on, because I understand that, yeah, lots of people feel some type of way with their family, regardless of how you want to feel. And in all honesty, your family would hurt you, or they will say some not so nice things, and you still feel some type of way, some level of hurt towards your family, but your family is still your family regardless. We understand that, yeah, sometimes some people want to make the move to not be close to their family and love them from afar, but it gets to a point where you would need your family around. But honestly, with all of this showing, lots of things are not even making sense, and I don't think people would want to stand and support anybody that seeks to disrespect the throne at this point. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comment down below. I'm sure tons of people have interesting things to share. I really love you to share that. You can share all the useful information you think might be really helpful. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and all of that stuff. And until next time, see you in the next video.